Hello, everybody. Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, here live with Friday's Ask Me Anything. Yes, it's Ask Me Anything Friday, where you can ask me about Ghostbusters. You can talk to me about what Bill Murray said, how much he thought that Ghostbusters was actually cute, sweet, heartfelt, and charming, which is great. I'm so glad he enjoyed it. I thought it was a really sweet letter to fans, even though it seemed to follow the original Ghostbusters only with a different kind of feel. And Jason did a great job, 100% great job. We'll also talk about Chepek. Are you surprised that he made so much money when there were people living in their cars, or the stock went, Disney stock kind of beep, and he's still going beep? I've never understood that about CEOs. The idea is to make the stock do well and to take care. I think a CEO should take care of the people who make, or the foundation of the parks, which is going to be you guys, the collectors and the fans, and also people who work there. I've never been a CEO, Mr. Chepek, so maybe I'm not seeing the big picture. But I think if you make millions and 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 millions of dollars, that you could take a couple of those million and take care of the people that are struggling as cast members, et cetera, et cetera. But that's just my thought. Okay. My thought. As I've said, if you're just joining me for the first time, I have done Ghostbusters, Men in Black, Jungle to Jungle, and today on my Patreon page with my tribe, I gotta say, let me just get out of this. With the tribe, they told me that Louis Anderson had passed, and I all of a sudden remembered I had done a job with Louis Anderson in Vegas. So as I approach 65, there are so many things that I've done, I tend to forget some of the things. And this is not to brag. This is just to say that's what happens as you get older. You may have done a lot of things in your life, and then all of a sudden something crosses the board and you go, oh, I did a job with him. And it was really fun. So we talked about that. And then, of course, I saw this feed with Bob Chepek, and I thought, ouch. I don't know that's I don't know. I don't know. I've never been a CEO. So maybe there's more to being a CEO than I'm thinking. But I mean, how much money does a person need? I just think you could allocate some of that to the cast members. And, I don't know how. I don't know how it works, but there's got to be a way, right? I look forward to your comments. You're welcome to ask me any questions. It doesn't have to be about Bob Chepek. It can be about Disney in general. It can be about D23. You may be saying that last time you talked about D23, I cannot find that broadcast. That's because I had to take it down. I will be pulling a couple of highlights out of it, but I'll just post those non-live. It'll kind of feel live, but they'll be non-live. And I just had to pull it down, and I'm not going to go into all of that magma. But if you're joining me and I'm not live and you want to introduce yourself or say hi or subscribe or whatever, feel free to comment in there, and then feel free to give me a shout, and feel free to subscribe. Basically, this is going to eventually be Terri TV. And by Terri TV, it's just my thoughts, my views, my work, my art. I'm an Imagineer. I'm a puppeteer with Jim Henson Company, so I'm a Puppeteer. I've done tons and tons of stuff. I do costumes. I create environments, design clothing, blah, blah, blah. Google me. It feels weird to do the me, I thing, doesn't it? It kind of says I've done this, I've done that, me. But Men in Black 1 and 2, Ghostbusters, Flintstones, Indian in the Cupboard, and so on and so forth. Captain EO, with Michael Jackson, people I've met, people I've worked with, Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor, and Louis. I worked with Louis, and I'm sorry to hear of his passing, as well as Meatloaf, which I told the story of the Rocky Horror Picture Show to my patrons. And in case you want to be a part of Terri's tribe, those of you who have been here before, you knew this was coming, go here. For as little as $5 a month, $60 a year, you can be a part of our tribe. You get 2 live broadcasts every week before I broadcast here publicly. And you also get a Zoom call every Wednesday. We do a Zoom call. Now, it doesn't, I could run into something that I have to do, a job or whatever. So it's not always consistent, but it's as consistent as I can be. And if you're someone who's looking to create a channel yourself, you do the best you can be, because we're not perfect. Okay. This channel, your channel is better than no channel. If you're looking to have a channel, just go for it. You can do it, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really cool. I'm just going to go in here and jump to, there we go. I just wanted to jump to something else on my camera 4. But anyway, so yeah, I was distressed to hear about this year, but not surprised. And I hope that you post in the comments whether you were surprised. Now, the Patreon page, before we completely abandon this, is a place where your voice is heard and needed. We help each other on all levels. Okay. So you may have heard about D23 just last week opening up for tickets. And so on the Patreon page, many of the tribe gave people hacks on what they might do in order to be able to get the 3-day passes and be ensured they got the 3-day passes. And it looks like everyone on the page got the passes that wanted them. Mm-hmm. And then many asked me if I was going to be at D23. I plan on it. And I will keep you posted as to whether or not I'm going to be. Also, the tribe suggested that I reach out to a couple of my friends that I worked with as an Imagineer when I was in-house, and I still work with today, about being a part of the celebration for Disney Paris, because that turns out to be the big arch is the celebration of Disney Paris. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, I designed the dragon from Dragon's Lair and Disney Paris. So, and also so here's the dragon that the Dragon's Lair that I did. We'll just show you real quick. There it is. There it is. Yay! And also the Big Thunder, the rabbit. Here's the rabbit for Florida's Splash Mountain and Tokyo's Splash Mountain. And then I'll just show you something else. And Big Thunder Mountain. Now, it wasn't all me. It was me and a team of people as Imagineers. But there's Big Thunder Mountain Paris, where you go, you board it on an island. You board it on the mainland. You go under the water and come up on an island. It's the best. So lots of reasons to join Paris. So I will be reaching out, but there's a very good chance I'll be, well, let me just say, there's a very good chance I'll be at D23, period, end of story. If for some reason this all falls flat, which I'm not planning on it, but you always got to have a plan B, don't you? If it all falls flat, I'll sit out in front on Saturday. And those of you who get disappointed because you don't get into the presentations, and there's always a bunch of you, I hate to say it, you can come out and chat with me. Get your lunch. We'll sit and we'll have a talk. We have a lot of fun. We just shoot the breeze like now, Mm-hmm. So welcome. Congratulations. You got your tickets. If you decided that preferred seating was something you did, I hope you got it, and congratulations. But yeah, the tribe is a place where we help each other, all kinds of things, art, whatever. So let me give you an example. And I'm going to pop this Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Terri Hardin, read about the tiers, and come in on the $5 a month. I really over delivery on that. $5 a month, $60 a year. And, all you have to do is skip a Starbucks once a month, and you've paid for it. And it's really a lot of fun to be a part of this group. One of the things we talked about on the Zoom call last Wednesday was that I got a really lovely Christmas gift from an animal. I don't know which animal, but he went into my garden and he pooped, and now I have an orange tree. And I love orange trees. Always wanted one. And these are big, giant, juicy, gorgeous oranges. And one of the girls in the tribe, her name is Stephanie. She has an amazing orange tree. So I immediately said to her on the Zoom call, is it better to pick the oranges or leave them on the tree till you pick them? And if you leave them on the tree till you pick them, because this kind of sounds like probably to many of you like a no-brainer, uh, will the animals eat them? So do I need to pick a couple just to be sure I have some for myself? And then if the animals eat some, I won't be so heartbroken. But looks like the animals are leaving them alone. But Stephanie, part of the tribe, helped me to understand about oranges because I didn't know when the orange is ripe or when they're ripe for picking. So because she has this amazing orange tree, she actually coached me on that. And they are fabulous and they're huge and they were a gift. It's not a tree. It's like an orange bush. But if I have my gardeners sort of work with the bush, it probably will never be tree-like. But what a lovely gift, because the only tree I have in my backyard is a grapefruit tree, and I don't like grapefruit. And they are the gourmet grapefruits. Of course they are. And my husband can't because of his medication. So I'm constantly giving away grapefruit. Do you want grapefruit? Like my gardeners, just pick them. Don't even ask me. Just take as many as you want because we don't eat them. And when we have people visit us, we say, if you like grapefruit, take a bag or have one for breakfast, because I won't, and he can't eat them. So there you go. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Love to have you. Or subscribe to this channel, and that's fun too. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Chepek CEO takes all the coin, and are you surprised? I'm not. It seems to be the norm, and I'm not going to diss him really bad, but the stock went, you know what I mean? So how do they gauge if a CEO is doing a good job? That's a question I'm asking you. How, they gave him a raise. Why? I mean, what did he do that warranted the raise? And those of you who are CEOs or those of you out there who knows how this machine works, I'd love to hear about it. So it's kind of an ask you anything. Okay, let's go. Let's get over to you. Anyway, there you go. That's what's in my head. That was in my thoughts today, and feel free to chat it up. Good morning, Dennis. How are you? I've missed you. Looking at Dennis and thinking about Dennis. Dennis and I, before the pandemic, would run into each other at the Disney and a fan club events, and we haven't had one in a long time, have we, Dennis? So that made me flash on my appearance next weekend. A week from this Sunday, forgive me. A week from this Sunday, I'm going to be at MouseCon Bakersfield. So if you're anywhere near Bakersfield, California, and you want to go pop over and see a sweet, wonderful little convention, pop over to MouseCon. Mousecon.com, mousecon.com. That's a mouthful, isn't it? You can find out all the who's all going to be there, because it's not all about me. You're going to have major people like Willie Ito there and many other artists who are amazing. There's panel discussions, presentations, cool stuff. Yeah. So it's only Sunday, and it's Sunday from 10 to 5, I believe. And so you can, if you're in Los Angeles, it's like a 2-hour drive. And if you're from up north, it's I don't know, what would you say the drive is from up north? Anyway, very easy to get to. So do consider it. So far, they have not canceled it. And honestly, between you and me, I don't think they will, because it looks like COVID is plateauing. So yay. But do understand, bring your mask, because everyone at the table who has a high-risk person or is high risk is going to ask you to have a mask when you're at the table, so that we can respect each other's, because with Omicron, you know how it is. So we're just going to take care of each other, because we'd hate to come from COVID and give it to someone and all that magma. We don't want that. So there you go. That's what's happening. There's a very good chance the author of Giggling Pumpkins, the book that was released over the summer, close to Halloween last year, the author, it looks like she's going to be sitting with me at my table because she's coming into town. So I asked her if she'd like to drive up with me, and it looks like she is. But we're going through all the protocol there too. COVID testing, check, mask, because she's driving cross country. We just got to be safe and careful, right? Right. So there you go. I think that's it. So we'll just go to, so Dennis, look at what you triggered in my brain. Michelle says, good morning. And there she is, the lovely Michelle. She joined me for my pumpkin sculpting class in October, and we met and we've become fast friends, and it's just been lovely. Thank you, Michelle. Michael Clark, good morning. My mom and dad and I were watching the new episode of Boba Fett and noticed they repurposed Hooter from Captain EO. Kind of. If you saw, I believe it was the first Star Wars movie, in the cantina, that character is there. So it does kind of look like that character, but I think what really the truth is that Hooter came as a bounce off of that blue character that you're talking about. But good eye, Michael. Very, very good eye. Yeah, Boba Fett. Yeah, well, the jury's still out. It moves really, 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 really slow. And being in an entertainment industry, we suspect it was probably a movie and they're trying to stretch it out to be a series, and it doesn't seem to feel like it's working. A lot of scenes that could have been spine-tingling and scary just aren't. And we wonder why in Boba Fett. It's just, we were loving episode 2. Episode 2 really had us going, really had us feeling, slow moving, but at least it had some energy and had some excitement. And now we're both feeling, my husband and I, if we watch him in the tank one more time, we're going to pull the plug. Seriously, we're just so tired of that water tank. But anyway, that's my opinion of Boba Fett. I will look at it again. I've been looking at it again, and I don't know why I keep watching it and don't just stop. But we keep hoping that the third act, there's going to be some, pow that happens, instead of, it's just, I don't know. I don't know who's at fault, but it just doesn't have that spine-tingling energy that we've come to be accustomed to in Mandalorian, and you just want that. You want that, and the other Star Wars movies, not the Disney ones, but the originals. You're on the edge of your seat, and that's what we like. We like to feel about the characters, Evan says, how did you go from puppeteer to Imagineer? That's a really good question, Evan. I started as a puppeteer when I was 6. And then when I was 14, 15, 16, I worked for an amazing lady in Van Nuys called Jeannie of Genieland as a puppeteer. She saw me designing puppets, fell in love with me, and I did a show for her. She used to do high-end puppet shows for celebrity children for their birthday. They could come to the theater, and they could go from room to room. So they had a place where they ate cake and opened presents. And then in the beginning, they would, as they were waiting to go into the theater and see the puppet show, they would play games. So I actually got to play White Duck, Yellow Duck with Mel Brooks. That was fun. Yeah. It's very interesting being chased by Mel Brooks. White duck, yellow duck. And he chased me around because I was the opening person at Genieland. And then I went into the theater and worked the lights. And while I was working the lights for the current puppet show, I designed a puppet show. And then I was down on stage and performed that puppet show. So that's how I started there as a young girl. So puppets were in my life very, very young age. Still visualizing, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? See Star Wars and realize that my hobby can be a career. Thank you, George Lucas. And then I started to keep trying at younger. So when I was around 12, my mother was working for Imagineering. Okay. She was what's called a word processor. Do you understand what that is? That's someone who would do the computers for you, because back in the day, computers were bigger and so new, and not everyone knew how to operate them. Those of you who are used to the iPhone, in your hand. This was not how it started. It started out with a rather large computer. I think one of the first was called Tandy, and they needed people. They needed to hire people to learn how to operate the systems because the executives didn't know how, and there was that learning curve. But my mom went to Disney. She was there for a little over 3 years, and she heard that they were auditioning for Figment, the voice of Figment, and they brought me in, and I competed for the voice of Figment and became one of the top 3 voices for Figment. They flew me to Florida, and then they gave it to Billy Barty, the non-actor. They kept telling us all through the auditions as we were little kids, we're little kids. I want a kid voice for Figment. I want a kid voice for Figment. And so it was a dragon. I just was so excited to be chosen. And they kept saying, we don't want an actor. We want a child. We want a real kid. So I was pretty real, pretty sassy. And my mom took a tape in, and they loved it. And they brought me in, and I auditioned at, I think I was either at the Disney, I think it was at the Disney Studios. I was going to say I might have been at 1401, but I don't think so. I think they brought me into the Disney because that's where a lot of their sound booths are for recording voices. And then they flew me to Florida when we auditioned there, and then they broke the news to the 3 of us that Billy Barty was going to be the Figment. So that was my first introduction that was one of my introductions into Imagineering. The other one was that as a child, I loved Disneyland, and my parents, it was expensive for us back then, all relative, not like today where you've got to, sell your car or something. But it still was a plan that my father had to do in order to take the family. So we would synchronize our watches at the front gate when I was about 7, 8 years old. And my dad would say, at noon, let's come together, we'll have lunch. But you guys go ride your rides. And I think my mom and dad would sit in Main Street and just people watch or whatever. But I told my mom, if for any reason I forgot, you'll find me on the Jungle Cruise. That was my favorite, that and Mr. Toad's. But the Jungle Cruise was where I would take a little pad and sketch. So at 8 years old, the cast member turned to me and said, there's a guy who sculpts all of these named Blaine Gibson. And he's an Imagineer, and Imagineers are the people who create all of this stuff. Well, my heart went boop, 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 boop. And my dad helped me look through the newspaper and anything and everything I could learn about Imagineering and Blaine Gibson. So if we go back, or we move forward to the time my mom was an Imagineer at Imagineering at 1401 in Glendale, she would, she knew her daughter was an artist. She knew her daughter was excited. She knew her daughter wanted to be a part of it in some way. So she kept submitting me nothing. Now I'm growing older, still submitting at the front door of 1401. My mother even worked out a blue card that used to be stapled to your application, which used to guarantee you a interview at least. And I knew if I could get the interview, I'd have the job. But that didn't work either. So I have enough rejection letters from Imagineering and that stupid mouse, you're not worthy, no thank you, never mind, that I could wallpaper my home. And so I took a break and I started creating costumes for SeaWorld, for Universal Studios, at a little shop called Shafton's. Now, when I was 20 years old, I landed a job called BB Beagle. Jim Henson had announced he was no longer doing the Muppet Show in London, and it dispersed. So every company, including Hanna-Barbera, was trying to get on the coattails of that exiting with their new show, and they did BB Beagle. And out of 100 potential puppeteers, I landed the only spot left in Hanna-Barbera, and we flew to Canada and did this show. That's where I learned how to use monitors. I had always looked at my character from below, and you look down at a monitor and see what the camera sees, so you can make sure your character is in the shot. Like, you don't, if this is the character's face, you don't want it up here, you can't see it, so you just bring it in, and you make sure your head was out of the shot and everything. So I cut my teeth on that. And the rest is history. I built McGruff the Crime Dogs, sculpted Smokey the Bear heads, made a Slimer for Universal, created the American Tail show. I helped with the sculpting of those characters, those heads, tons of stuff, while I was waiting to figure out how to break through the barrier of Imagineering, when one day a friend of mine, and this is the way it often happens, guys, a friend of mine walked in and said, I'm just working up the way, because Disney had all these different buildings. And they had a building called the Tonga Building. So my friend came in from the Tonga Building and saw me building a water drop for LA Water and Power. It was a walk around water drop that just said, hey, folks, save water. And I sculpted that. And he saw me sculpting that. What you doing? Water drop. How you doing? I'm just waiting for Disney to get a clue and hire me as an Imagineer. And he actually got me in to see someone. And when they saw my portfolio, they said, where have you been? And I said, stupid me. I kept knocking at the front door. I didn't realize I had to go in the back door. And so 9 interviews later, which is not a happy thing, over 3 months, 9 interviews, don't know what they were trying to figure out. I had been sculpting for the movie industry, sculpting costumes, doing rock work, working on all kinds of stuff, doing a little puppetry, doing Ghostbusters, working on Dune, building steel suits in Dune. Basically, I just flowed where the river took me. If the door opened, I went through it and worried about it later. Seriously. Do I know how to do this? Not really, but I'll learn. I'll figure it out. And I did. Sculpted a parade for Disney using a chainsaw and a machete. I had to sculpt a Mrs. Godzilla because they didn't want to pay the residuals to Godzilla. So we made Mrs. Godzilla, curlers in her hair, sculpted Mrs. Godzilla for a parade that went down the main street of Disneyland. So basically wherever I could get where I got. So Evan, did you think this was going to be such a long answer? Absolutely true. And then when I became an Imagineer, they asked me to audition with Brer Fox. I did a little maquette of Brer Fox. And then later, I don't think I have pictures of it, but I'll try and get you pictures next time. You can see my audition pieces. Next time I had to do the full head of Brer Fox, which is still in Splash Mountain today, is Brer Fox head. My only piece that's in Disneyland, actually. And I sculpted it. And then they had 8 people walk around and measure it because they wanted it to be symmetrical. Any of you who do art know that nature is not symmetrical. And if you're someone who doesn't do art and you want to know if nature is symmetrical, have you ever done that test where you look in a mirror and you have a mirror in the middle of your face? It's pointed out this way. And then you take the mirror. So if the reflective part is here on the mirror, you go like this. And you see that this is maybe a happy face, and you flip it over and you go like this, and you have the eviler face. If you've not done that, you should try it. It's totally cool. As artists, we were taught to do that. But that shows you how asymmetrical you really are. But in mechanics, they'd love it if you'd make it symmetrical. Thank you very much, because then they can just build the inner electronics and they don't have to worry about the skin acting weird. So I really worked hard to make stuff symmetrical for Disney, even though the world of nature is anything but symmetrical. And I auditioned with that piece, and then they looked at my rock work I had done for, what did I do? I'm trying to think of some movies that I did rock work for. I can't off the top of my head pull them up. But I did a lot of sculpting of mountains and cliffs and all kinds of stuff. And they went crazy. And my 9th interview, which was over 3 months. Meanwhile, I'm still doing puppetry with Jim. I mean, Jim in 1982. I didn't join Imagineering until 87. So I never went from puppetry to Imagineering. I actually kind of just, one ski was puppets and the other ski was sculpting. And I just kind of did both. In fact, one time as an Imagineer, they approached me in my studio at Imagineering and asked me if I'd sculpt the tiger cave from Aladdin so that they could use what's called a potentiometer, digitally input it into their system and then animate it. But going through the company, I was very expensive. So they went on the outside and had me do it as an extracurricular activity so that they could afford it and we could do it. I wanted to do it. And I did the Tiger Cave for Aladdin. I did the sculpture that they used what was called a potentiometer at a time. I'm sure all of this stuff is different now, okay? Because CG has come a long way, hasn't it? But that's where they could do first, and then it helped them to animate the Tiger Cave in Aladdin. That is the old days. There's a lot of that old day stuff. Yes, indeed. But so to answer your question, Evan, I never went from to. I tend to do both even today. Always puppeteer and Imagineer. In fact, as an Imagineer, when things started to get a little bit, the shows were in, Paris was full steam ahead or whatever, I was asked to come in and do a puppet show for Tokyo with my friend and co-author of the Giggling Pumpkins book. We both built the puppets, created the puppets, and did the show for Pan Galactic Pizza, which used to be in Tokyo. Characters who would order pizza, and those characters would get on a big screen. So Tokyo had like a 16-screen sidewall, and then there were audio animatronic characters making the pizza in this restaurant, and then these guys would come on the 16 screens and order pizza from all over the world. So there was like a 3-eyed bulldog looking guy with this 3-eyed dog, and like I said, if I can find these for you, I promise I will. I'm just not sure where all of that is, but I will dig around. So if you want to see some of my early stuff, I'll try and pull that up for you. Okay. It's just so. But we did that. We performed that together. We shot it at Imagineering together as puppeteers, because Imagineers realized that there is more to you than just the job that they selected you for. They brought me in as a sculpting rock work, which is not easy as a sculptor. I am a detailed sculptor, so there's an A to a Z when I sculpt. But with rock work, you go to A to about M and N-O, like a little bit over it. And you don't know, because if you get it too cherried out, it doesn't look real. It looks fake as anything. And you get that God is God moment, okay, where you go, oh, this is awful. So you have to know when to stop in rock work. It's a real skill. And it was great to do rock work. Many sculptors said, oh, how boring, but it really wasn't. It was really amazing. And then there was the costume contest or a Halloween. At Halloween, everything kind of shut down at Imagineering. Animation would come over. They were actually across the street back in that day. And we would have a Halloween day. And we'd all make costumes. And I taught a pumpkin sculpting class. First year, I won 3 categories: costume, pumpkin sculpting, and the third category, I can't remember, I won. And then the next year I won costumes, but my students beat me out in, mask. My students beat me out in almost every category because I taught them how to do it. And that's what a teacher's all about, right? Getting beat by your students. So it was cool. But it was a lot of fun. There I did the, Zebra Warrior, which caught the attention of Ken Anderson and Ward Kimball. And they just couldn't get over how amazing the material was. I had done it out of a material that's used in safety helmets called L200. And Roy Disney caught Roy Disney's eye, and he was really impressed. So I used to tell people as an Imagineer that they say they pigeonhole you, but you don't have to buy into that scenario. Okay. You don't have to buy into that. You can say to yourself, I want to be in the sculpting department. How do I get there? And how do they know that that's where I really should be? So every Halloween I did sculptural outfits, and they just were really loving it. Roy loved my Zebra Warrior helmet, which I threw to him and it floated. He thought it was going to be, really rigid and heavy. It was a zebra. Oh, it was cool. I had little zebras on here. Like I said, if I can find it for you, I will show you. I ought to do something called portfolio so you guys could actually see some of the crazy stuff that I did as a young person, but I don't see the zebra warrior here. However, what I do see here is my fairy, which this is the one that got Ken Anderson all excited, was my fairy. So this is on the platform of the Mapo stage at Imagineering, and I am dressed as a fairy, and I have won this cell. I think it's a Sarah cell, not a full cell. I did win a cell, but for something else. And here I am dressed as a fairy, and the wings actually work with my body, so I can shift it, and the wings just went like this. And I was on rollerblades, so I went down. So the reason the Disney Legends were so impressed with this creation was that they wanted to see if they could. This is the Ice Fairy from Fantasia. And so they wanted to see how I did it to possibly include it in the parade at Disneyland. And that's what I mean. Imagineers are multifaceted diamonds. So they are always curious. I don't know about now. I can't talk about now because I am independent contractor Imagineer for them now. You know, come here. We need you. Get away. We're done. Imagineer, that's me. But they're still looking to me for my creative brain. So more in the shadows, but they are. So this was something that they do. They take a look, and like I said, Tony Baxter said it's a very different place now. It's very, very different than what it was. And so I was very fortunate to be there when it was cool. But again, Evan, to answer your question, I was always doing puppets and working as an Imagineer, and sometimes did a lot of puppets for Imagineering, which was great. And it's it's just if you don't let, how can I say this? If you don't let what other people say be your barrier, like you're not going to get paid a lot of money and Disney doesn't pay a lot of money. True. Okay, that's true. And you're pigeonholed. It can be true, but it doesn't have to be. You just keep showing what you do in areas that are free to do so, like parties like that. And they take notice because everybody comes out for the parties. Roy, that's where I first met Roy Disney. And later on, I did a Talking Mickey Mouse, which now, if you've seen the Talking Mickey Mouse, I did the first Talking Mickey Mouse, but there was a big, huge puppet system I was attached to, and they needed to make it smaller, and now it's a chip inside Mickey's head. Whoa! That they can pre-program, and they might even have it to where the person can kind of, articulate certain sentences. I don't know how advanced it is, but it's way more advanced because we've gone from big boards to big areas where I was doing this to make Mickey Mouse talk, much like dinosaurs in the TV show Dinosaurs, and Country Bears was all this, okay? It was all this kind of thing, like a big giant video game sort of, except for that there were audio animatronic characters on the other side. It shrunk down to a chip. So now Mickey is the chip and he speaks. I don't know if he speaks to children. When they first had a Talking Mickey Mouse towards children, it scared the kids. So they usually keep him in a parade distance from everybody and still use the classic Mickey Minis that are so cute, head bobbing Mickey and Minnie, which we love, right? So so that's what that's from. And Roy Disney was not surprised to see me in the helm when he came to look at the Talking Mickey Mouse from the client, or from the person who was doing it, because that's what they wanted to do in that transition. Again, they flew me to Florida to fine tune that Talking Mickey Mouse, and then we performed it in the Hollywood. You remember back in the day when you could walk a catwalk and look at the sound stages and watch the animators animate, kind of made us all feel like we were in fish bowls, but you got to see all of that and stand and watch. Well, those are the days that I was there doing Talking Mickey Mouse. So puppeteering, Evan, and Imagineering, it's still the same today, actually. So thank you for the question. Cool. Yes, John. Good to see you, John. How nice of you to come and see me here. I missed you, man. Paul, there you are. Good morning, Terry. We were able to get 3-day gold passes, see? But got shut out from preferred seating. Preferred sold out after about 10 minutes. Yeah. I thought that might be a hot ticket item, Paul. But I spoke about this. I think I talked a little bit about this last Monday. That I think it's seating only, which means you 3-day gold members and all of you who are not sorcerers might get the merchandise you'd like to get at D23 finally. It may also mean that you all will get the passes that you want to the people you want to get autographs from and see without the sorcerers taking them all up. I'd like to think, let me say it like that, Paul, that D23 realized that a lot of these people that were buying the sorcerer passes were eBay people, and we're just carrying it over to eBay and charging you 3 times to get what you should get when you're at the show. Okay. It's one thing, to have such a program. It's another to abuse it. And I really felt it was abused. I'd sit on the sidelines and see sorcerers just be gluttons, and it was frustrating for me. I didn't like it. You need to limit it. According to the saga of the Figment popcorn bucket, holy moly, have you heard about this? Of course you have. You're the ones that told me about it. A fellow on Twitter said that he had talked with Walt Disney World and Epcot Center, and they said they had plenty. Yeah, you may have to stand in a line to go and get your popcorn bucket, but don't pay $250 or whatever they're asking on eBay for this stupid thing. They have plenty of them. Just be sure you're tag teaming with your friends. And they also assured that they were limiting to 2, Now, one guy said he saw a guy walking out with 7, but you guys know how that game is played. You bring your daughters and their friend, and say, I'm going to say, you want 2 and you want 2 and you want 2 and I have 7. Who needs 7? But this is how the eBayers kind of get around. But that they don't necessarily, they may not be so successful because apparently, according to several people on Twitter, there's plenty there. You just got to wait in line, okay, to get your 2. And then buy 2. Buy your quota, okay? I guess they're $20 a piece. Get your $40 and buy 2. Because later, you might want to post it on eBay for what? $50, $60. And someone who really wants it, or it might be a gift for someone who missed out. If I was at Epcot, I'd buy 2. Do I want 1? Answer is no. No, I don't want a pumpkin bucket. No. But what happens is that someone just can't get there. And so I'll have them sitting here. I've had countless stories, guys, Paul may remember, that when we did the 50th anniversary, there were pins. And so I went with pin collectors because I was not clear about pin collecting. Okay. So I followed some really savvy people on how to collect pins. And while I was there, the people behind the counter said, do you have a Visa card? I said, yes. And they said, well, here's the one if you belong to Visa, and here's one if, you're a pass holder, and here's the one. And I said, how many can I get? They said 2. So I bought 2 of everything. Did I need 2 of anything? No, I did not. But when I go to an appearance, I can put one in an auction that helps the club make money. Okay. That was my thinking. But I was sitting at a table with some collectors, as I always do over in Coke Garner during the birthday. And and there was a man who kept getting up, an older man. At the time I was in, the 50th anniversary, I can't remember. But I was easily, in my 50s? No, I was younger. Younger. I'm almost 65. Math is not my thing. But anyway, this guy who looked to be about 65, 70 years old, if I was to guess, he kept getting up and wandering around from the table and then coming down. And finally I asked him, what has got you so sad, so exasperated? You just look like your little heart is broken. And he said he was trying to find that they had started this attraction pin set. So Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland. I guess there was a set in each month each week. I don't know. They were releasing this pin. So they had released the Frontierland pin. And this guy said he couldn't find it. He was jumping up every place he thought he could find it, and he couldn't find it. Well, I said, well, wait a minute. Was it offered today? And he said, yeah. So I opened my bag, and I've got 2. And so I hand it to him. I say, is this it? Is this the pin you've been killing yourself for? And he was like, oh my God, you have it. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what I have. But if you want it, why don't you just buy it from me? And everybody at the table said, you could charge him double. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not going to do that. All right. No. I said, what's the cost? Here's the bill. Pay me what I paid. Oh my gosh. This guy burst into tears. You know who you are when you want something really bad. And if you're one of these people who wants these popcorn buckets, it's not fair for someone to buy so many and hoard them that you don't get your chance to do it if you're there at the park to get one. So I applaud. I'm not much of a Twitter person. I do get on Twitter occasionally, but I applaud these Twitter people for calling out the fact that people were putting these popcorn buckets off for really horrible prices, $250, so on. And he just said, look, Walt Disney World has got them. See if you can find someone in Florida that can buy it for you for $20, and then send them the money if you're not in Florida. See if they can, In fact, I think it was Evan Hunter, who's on here now, who told me that the Mickey Mummy was in Company D. Is it Company D? Here, Company D. I don't know, about Florida, but at a discount rate. So guys, breathe, talk to your friends, talk to a cast member. If they find it there in the area, ask them if they'll pick you up a couple and send them to you, and you give them a little gift or something for it. Okay. But don't don't panic. Okay. Because Disney, it looks like Walt Disney World, they want to make the money. They don't want these people on eBay to make the money. So apparently this, talk to me about this Figment if you disagree or it's not what I'm seeing. But on Twitter, a lot of people tweeted that, yeah, there were plenty. Okay. So if you want one, it's not my thing, but if it's your thing, and if I were to get one, I would use it to help a club, because clubs always have their little raffles. Did I say that wrong? They're raffles, not little raffles, but they have their raffles to support their organizations. And if I'm speaking there, I always think it's good to bring something that's really unique and special that can help that club sell raffle tickets. Yeah. So that's just my policy. That's just my thought. If you're going to appear at an event, this is the other thing. If you're someone who they ask to speak at an event or whatever, let's say it's a dinner and they buy you dinner. And let's say they have a silent auction. Do yourself a favor and help the organization by bidding on something at least the price of your dinner plate. Okay. So whenever I do Ryman's Arts with Disney and a Fan Club, I bid on something in their silent auction. Now, I'm kind of a stinker because I'll go through and look, and if I think that the thing that's being offered is selling for too low, I bid on it. Okay? Knowing that if I get it, yay, but if I don't get it, it's going to go for a price it's worthy of going for. And I always get in battles. I love auction battles. So I remember that there was something in Marty Sklar's office that I really wanted. So I got into this bidding war with someone else, and they snuck in and they beat me. But it went for way more for Ryman Arts than it would have had there only been one person bidding. Okay. So I tend to get in on it. So if I'm speaking, watch out, be ready to bid, because if I think that it's worth more than it is and you're getting too much of a deal, I'm going to bid against you. I will, because I want the charity to win. This is why I do charities. I want the charity to benefit. Yes, it's great if you get a deal, but the deal $5 for something that's $500. Okay. That money needs to go to the charity. The person who donated it for charity. And so this is my view. No catalytic converter on my mouth, as I've said. And mine was not stolen. Just never been there. But that's what I'd say. So preferred seating selling out. What excites me about preferred seating, I'm sorry, Paul, you didn't get to get it, but what excites me about that is that I hope it's only the preferred seating for the events and not the shopping and not the people that you want to get signed, because to watch young girls dressed in Tangled, they love the actor. There was an actress, I guess, on, what was it, Once Upon a Time. I don't watch a lot of TV, forgive me. They were going to see the actual actress who played the character or whatever, and these young girls were dressed in the outfits, having to sleep on a hard ground, wanting to get the tickets early enough so they can see their heroine, and then told, doors open at 9, they get there at 9:01, told the tickets are not there. I mean, come on. And there I am watching kids collapse and cry. I would write to D23 every single year, not only on an email, not only in messaging, but I also wrote handwritten letters, because I know a handwritten letter can go a long way. So I hope it was the sorcerer's dissolvement was partially my fault. I mean, seriously, full disclosure, I hope it was my fault, because I just could not stand the way it was abused at D23, and D23 going, oh, well, limit it, D23. If you want to have sorcerers, limit the sorcerers to what they can buy. 2, okay? You have the pass, you get 2. I mean, rest of Disney can do it. What's the matter with D23? So I'm very excited. I'm sorry you didn't get it, Paul, but I am really happy that you guys got to keep me posted on how the shopping and how getting an autograph that's important to you works this year, because I'm excited, because I think it's going to be, you all are in the same boat, and I hope so you can get what you want. I'm praying, but you guys keep me posted. You guys know way more than I do, right? Yeah, just this is where I get my infos from you guys, right? And Mice Chat, yeah. Dusty's really on top of stuff too. It's not just within Disney. The CEO salaries are outrageous. True, Dennis. Many companies pay their executives these high salaries while the real backbone of the company, frontline workers, suffer. I agree with what you said. How much money does a person need? Yeah, I mean, I know I'm on the outside looking in, Dennis. I am. But you hear about this and you just scratch your head. And dare I say that I don't think Bob has been doing a good job. So why is he getting the money if he hasn't really been delivering? I mean, I don't know if it was he who actually said this. I'm not going to put it on him, but he was trying to help the shareholders, of which I am and many of you are. And we've watched our stock go, so what's he doing that warrants such a salary? It's just my question. Terry asks you anything. So feel free to jump in and share your thoughts with me, because I am very confused. If we did something wrong on our jobs, wouldn't we be fired? So what's the justification here? I'm lost. Joseph, how are you? Good morning. I tried getting D23 tickets Wednesday, had issues with the site, so 3-day passes sold out. I tried Thursday and was able to get. I tried Thursday. Oh, good. And was able to get 3-day gold pass. There you go. Okay, so people who had a Visa card were able to do it Wednesday, just like you're saying, Joseph. And those that got their 3-day passes on Wednesday was the Zoom call on the Patreon page with my tribe. Okay. So the tribe actually talked about their experience getting their 3-day passes Wednesday, also announcing all visas could do it, not just Disney's preferred visa. All visas could do Wednesday. And for those of you who didn't have a visa or missed out on that announcement, you got, as Joseph says, the opportunity to try Thursday when it was open to everybody. And the people on the tribe site during the Zoom call gave people hacks. I said, tell people what they need to know to get in and possibly get what they want. And they talked about the experience. And this is one of the things that makes Terry's Tribe so wonderful. It's not always art. It's not about artists. I mean, I'm an artist, but I've got all walks of life there who are sharing their voice for $5 a month, $60 a year, and I'm benefiting, okay? They actually helped me with my Cheshire Cat sculpture, which I showed you. that's coming up. And they're a gold mine for me. And I hope I'm a gold mine for them. This is a great page for so little as, skip your Starbucks once a month and join this organization, this group of amazing people, because I learned about oranges. You notice that Evan Hunter flew through here. He's a master chef. He helped us to understand and create avocado toast, which we all turned out to be crazy about avocado toast. Go figure. Again, this is the Terry's Tribe page, and we're talking avocado toast, okay? And we're talking cleaning methods. I can't get this stain out of my shirt. What did I do? I have a pet. I have an animal that ran through my yard and pooped an orange tree. What do I do? How do I take care of the oranges, and when do I pick them? And oh my God, they're amazing. And I mean, all kinds of things, guys, that we talk about. And it's not always about art. So I urge you to go to patreon.com/Terri Hardin and check it out and become a member of the tribe. There's other tiers that go up, but right now, this year, I'm not populated those tiers as much as I'd like to, but that's going to change. And then I will give you the announcement as to if you want to go in a higher tier, you can, but I want you to have something there. So for now, jump in on that $5 tier because I over deliver and everything. And if you want to do $10, there are some behind the scenes that I do, but I'm just gearing up, and it's great. Okay. It's really, really fun. Stephanie, one of our tribe members, shared with us this amazing planet-friendly soap that you can get from a place, I think it's called Bluehost. And I bought a set. I should have shown it to you. Maybe I'll do that on Monday. I'll show it to you. It's amazing. They're Mickey and Minnie. They're glass. They're beautiful. And you get warm water. It's a hand soap. You put warm water and you put these little pellets in, and then it creates a foam. Got to wait about 8 hours, but it creates a foam, all eco-friendly, wonderful to the planet. This is what we share on Terry's Tribe. So I urge you to check it out, come a part of it. Love for you to be, because your voice needs to be heard. Come be a part of a great group of people that I learn something every day, and I teach as much as I can. So it's not all about me. It just happens to be a page that I created and has grown into this community of, wow, just you want to live there. You just do. You just do. So yes, Joseph, congratulations on your gold pass. And I will look for you at D23 one way or another. Congratulations. Oh, thank you, Bill. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Love you too. Love you too. I'm healing up from my bypass surgery pretty much. Yeah. How you doing? Don't you just hate that cough that they make you do? When you have bypass surgery, they give you this they give you the heart pillow and they said hug it and cough, and you're like, oh heck no. But that helps you to heal when you do that. Make sure your lungs don't get fluid in there. So they have you blowing that thing with the little ball. I didn't have bypass surgery, but my husband did, and that makes him high risk for COVID, which is why I am a tigress when it comes to people and masks. Because I don't want him to get sick. So I'm not mean about it. I'm just forceful. Wear your mask. Over your nose, please. Yes, indeed. Who knows? Maybe Bob Cheapskate will show up to feed his ego. Maybe. But he will probably be on stage. Because can you imagine if he got down in with a bunch of the people? I'm not saying the Disney people would be mean, aggressive, or awful, but they definitely would be outspoken. Y'all would be outspoken, wouldn't you? You still will be, but you'll have the safety of the stage, the distancing. Nobody likes people growling at them from all points, even if they deserve it. So he's probably going to give himself some distance. He's probably going to stay on stage. And for his own protection of, But he really should allow people to ask him direct questions about what the heck are you doing? You are screwing up. And allow us to, and you all, to ask your questions. And then he should answer them. He is the CEO of Disney, you know. Other officials have to answer. So be bold, be brave. You made this bed. Defend it. Yeah, defend it. I agree with you, Michael. I'm with you. I hope he does, actually. Pam Smith, COVID is crazy in Bakersfield right now. Thank you, Pam. I really needed to hear that. Pam, are you also the one that has me watch Final Destination before I fly to Paris? I'm kidding. Yeah, and this is why I think this is why the guy who's doing MouseCon is waiting a little bit, because he doesn't know if it's gonna go or not. So maybe he's waiting for it to plateau. I don't know. But we're gonna have to be very careful. We have to be very, very careful, you know? Yeah. I mean, I would love to do it because I love to see you, but we are going to take precautions. Mask at my table. And then you'll stand in front. I'm happy to take a picture back like they do it at California Adventure Park and Disneyland. You know, you've got that distance, so the suits are and the people are protected back here, but we'll stand and we'll smile. And there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, or take pictures in masks, which I think taking pictures in masks is really neat. And the reason I like it is because of the era. You know, one time this is going to be soon, you know, at some point, this is going to be in our past and we're going to forget about it and go about our business. No, seriously, this is going to happen. And it'll be interesting to look back and see those pictures with all the masks and go, what? You know, people being born that have no idea what that means, right? So taking a picture in the mask is kind of cool, I think. But there I go. Thank you, Pam. I'm just teasing you. Jessica, I just finished my first puppet last night. Do you remember the first puppet you ever made? I sure do. Thank you for asking me, Jessica. My first puppet was a lamb chop, and I was 6 years old when I made it. I saw Sherry Lewis on TV, and I saw how Hush Puppy and Lamb Chop talked to her, and if she was sad, made her feel better. And I was being bullied, so I took a sock and some yarn, and I made a lamb chop. I don't know if I ever took a picture of my lamb chop. I kind of wish I had, but I don't know if I did. At 6 years old, you know, camera knows. But he became my confidant, and that's when I realized that puppets are such a great thing for people. If they're feeling sad or down, they can actually have a buddy, you know, someone talking to them. I have a program where I teach schools how to build a buddy, and kids, it's a whole thing I do with teachers. And usually they put up an auditorium and I lay out the whole plan. And most kids I did were 400 kids. Yeah, they build their character. They design their character. We had camp counselors do the hot glue gun because little kids, you don't want them to be messing with a hot glue gun. And then we had all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, it was great. It is great. In fact, I'm working on a kit that a teacher can actually purchase for their classroom and then do it themselves, you know. But that got pushed aside. So that's something I want to work on as well. So many things, so little time, right, Jessica? Congratulations on making your puppet. What is yours like, Jessica? I have to ask. Paul says, well, the CFO made comments in October that Disney could cut portion sizes and that some guests could afford to lose weight. And in December, her contract was extended for 3 years. Do you really think, Paul, you know, I know what you're going to say. I know, I don't even need to ask this question, Paul. But I am going to say, you know, that's like there's a story for everything. We want to cut portion sizes because we want to charge the same amount and make more money for less work. Which do you think is the real answer? But they couldn't say that to you, could they, Paul? They couldn't say we're cutting portion sizes, but we're leaving the price the same so we can make more money. So they pull in this weight thing. Do you believe it? I don't. I don't believe it. I'm also surprised that there aren't a lot of people going to this lady that she's body shaming. Because that's a big trend now, too. You know. What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you body shaming me? Are you? Really? Disney? Are you telling me I'm fat? What? What? My thoughts, I welcome yours, guys. Joseph says, I don't like the book of Boba much either. I haven't seen it this week yet, but I agree. Very slow. Yeah, it's just, you know what kills you? Is Favreau wrote it, but he didn't direct it. Not necessarily. And I don't know if you guys are a part of a show called, what's it called? Money Heist. Okay, so Money Heist is in its 5th season. I don't know. It's on Netflix, guys, if you want to check it out. But I was so excited because I heard on the news, everybody's like, Money Heist, we're so excited to see 5th season. Well, I watched 1st season and I really got into this, okay? Wow, this was really good. And then it went like 10 episodes and I was like, what's the story with this thing? So I skipped from I was like 5th episode and I go, this really doesn't seem to, it seems to be stagnating. So I jumped to the 10th and it was still stagnating. So I went to 2nd season and I watched first 2 and all of a sudden I realized that this thing was not moving at all. 5th season, I can't even imagine what happens 5th season. But I did. I clicked on 5th season and there's still, I don't want to spoil it for you, but they haven't moved. Let me just say that. So I said, the problem is when you do a series, sometimes the series fills out beautifully, Downton Abbey. Every season, every episode, every bit of that moves the story forward, and it's a joy to watch over and over and over again. Mandalorian is moving very nicely. We're loving that, and so on. Here's Money Heist. I happen to know one of the voices who does the English-speaking voice for the main character, actually, and he told me it was only supposed to go 2 seasons when he was told it had to go longer. So he's got to stretch out a story he had planned for maybe 20 episodes to be 50 episodes, and he just stretched it out. So this is why Boba Fett is bothering me. I'm wondering if Favreau wrote it for 1 season or a couple of episodes. Maybe he wanted to make a movie. Maybe his thought was, I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to do a movie of Boba Fett. And then Disney came and said, no, we're doing a series. And he went, what? Because that's what it feels like, doesn't it, Joseph? It just goes, these last 2 seasons, these last 2 episodes feel like nothing really happened. And if it did, you didn't care. That's a heartbreaker because the 2nd episode was really good. I thought that was really, really fun. It was nice to learn about the Tusken Raiders. I love that. So I'll watch it one more time, but I don't know if I'm going to be in for the whole slog because it's a slog. It's a shame that it's such a slog, but it is. Boba was originally supposed to be a movie. Ta-da! But everything fell apart with the backlash from the fans after The Last Jedi. Well, is there any surprise there? And most projects were canceled and put on hold. Well, there you go. If it was supposed to be a movie, I'm sure Favreau's going, oh, this is killing me too. Because we know Favreau's got it in him. If you let him do the project the way, you got to tell Favreau what the project's for. You got to tell your writer, okay, this is for 10 episodes. You don't tell him it's a movie, which goes about 2 hours, 2.5, maybe 3 if you're lucky, instead of 10. It's not fair. The writer says, excuse me, what? I'm now having to make a loaf of bread last, see what I'm saying? If you ever saw, I'm trying to remember, I think it was one of I don't like to talk about them much. The first 3 George Lucas Star Wars films, 1, 2, and 3, as opposed to the ones that matter, which is 4, 5, and 6, where they had aliens on a cruiser talking. And they were puppeteered. The faces were puppeteered by people. And people got upset because the lip sync was off. Well, originally it was supposed to be a different language. And then in post, they decided to make it English. And now the puppeteer looks like they don't know what they're doing. This is one of the most frustrating things about being a movie puppeteer, is that you're told one thing and then they go and they do another and you get blamed because it doesn't work. And in post, if they'd have told them it was English, these guys would have lip synced beautifully. But they were told it was going to be subtitled. And then when it came to the movie, it was English and they looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Very frustrating as a puppeteer. Or as any performer. You're told one thing and they change it to another and you look bad. Okay? So that's what I suspected with Boba Fett. It's just dragging. It's not interesting. Even the scary parts aren't scary. There were some situations where we really should have felt it. I don't want to spoil it for you who haven't seen it, but it's tough. It's really, really tough to watch. I'm with you, Joseph. Sell your car, go to Disney. You made Mom laugh really hard. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mom. Yeah, I mean, don't you? Thank you, Mr. Chepek. Yeah. I want to go to Walt Disney World and I have to sell my child or my car or, have a roommate. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So that's why I say, someone said to me the other day, if you were an Imagineer, you're an Imagineer, what would you do if you had a chance to change Disney? I'll tell you what I would do. I would do a separate a la carte ticket. Okay, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Okay, I went to be with a family for their birthday. You can reach out to me and say, Terry, my husband, my wife, my family would really like to spend some time with you. Any chance this is the date you could come? Okay, this is why I get a pass, is to see you guys and have parking. Okay, plain and simple. However, when we went there, this family flew in from another state and they bought the Genie Pass, thinking that it would, because they have little children and little children have attention spans that are about this big. So they thought it would be a good investment. They ended up overspending because these two kids were interested in different things than they anticipated. So this little a la carte would be great because you could buy a base ticket that gets you inside the gates of Disney. All right. Follow me with this. Okay. And then you have little kids who don't necessarily hit the height limit for all the rides, but still they got to pay for all the rides. I mean, is it fair? So the parents could say, okay, I got a family of 4. We buy the a la carte ticket for a special price, hopefully not, sell your car price. And then you can cherry pick a couple of rides. Okay. So like if you're a family on a budget, you could say to the kids, okay, kids, we can't do every ride at Disneyland, but let's pick a couple. Let's look at the list and let's pick a couple, cherry pick a couple or Apple, whatever. And we'll ride those 2 rides to get a taste of Disney. And then when you're older, maybe we'll splurge for the big ticket trip. Because this family, the kids, all they wanted to do was to go into California Adventure Park first day when I was there and play in the equivalent of Tom Sawyer's Island. They swung on ropes and they ran across ladders and they climbed. Nobody was in there. Nobody was in that space. Like 2 or 3 other kids, that was it. Because all the other kids are riding rides, but these are what the kids wanted to do. And then we went to lunch. And then I took the kids shopping. And we were out of there. I mean, seriously, guys, that's what. So that's a lot of money for someone when their family. Now, truth be told, they went to Disneyland, and the littlest one stayed for a while. He's like 4 or something, and he went back to the hotel room to relax while the mother and her 9-year-old daughter rode every ride in Disneyland. But again, if she could have said, for my little one, a little bit of a la carte, and we'll buy the big ticket for me and my daughter, they would have saved half for a family of 4. I just think this works. I think Walt did this earlier. with the A, B, C, D, E tickets for everyone. But a lot of people are like you. They ride everything. That's fine. But for families who have little children or have people that just want to sit, maybe they're older people who just want to come and watch the parade, or maybe they just want to shop, and you could bracket it. You could make it for, if you don't want to give them the whole day, then give them a few hours. Say for 3 hours, you can pick your time slot to shop or watch a parade or whatever. And this is the price. And then you can put a couple of things on if you want to go do it. Like kind of like if you walk in Walt footsteps. That's a thing you add to your basket, right? So I'm just saying, it's crazy. It's simple. I think it's simple. Okay, sitting where I'm sitting, it's simple. All right, I don't know. Chepek may disagree, but I think it's simple. Morning. Oh, I knew you would be here. So great to see you. Great to see you. Do you listen to music when you sculpt? Nope. Was that too fast? I can't, John. I love music. So what happens is, if I put music on, like I can put classical on, it works pretty well, but I still move, And then if it's Michael Jackson, it's a boom, 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 a boom, 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 boom. Try to sculpt when you're doing stuff like that, right? ABBA. Na 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 na. I'm sorry, I'm moving. Music moves me, so I can't play music, I'm afraid, while sculpting. What I do is put on a movie that I know really, really well. So it's Downton Abbey's full series, Kung Fu full series, Zato Ich, the Blind Swordsman full series, Lone Wolf and Cub the full series, Fantasia the movie, Bambi the movie, Cinderella, Leslie Ann Warren's Cinderella, or the new Cinderella. I like that one as well. The only live action I want, directed by Kenneth Branagh. I know it really well. I can watch it here in my brain while listening to it there, and I'm able to sculpt. But that is my music or my radio. Sometimes I'll listen to talk radio. I happen to love a couple of talk radio hosts. I find them very fun. Mo Kelly is a big one. In fact, I'm working to get on Mo Kelly's show because I just think he's really cool and wonderful. And he has the Geek Hour, I think he calls it, where they talk about all things that are like Star Wars and space and Marvel and all that kind of cool stuff, gaming and stuff like that. So I'd love to be with him and his friend and talk geek stuff, talk Star Wars. So I keep writing to him, but he's been very busy. He's been filling in for people throughout that radio show. But I'll just keep Shawshanking him until he reaches out. And Mo, if you're listening, you need me on the show. But Monique Marvez put me on her show a while back, and now she's doing stand-up comedy, and I wish her all the best. So there are people that I like, and I'll listen to that occasionally. But like one of them is Bill Handel on Saturdays. Yeah, Saturdays, not Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, Bill Handel does a call-in show where people call in and ask him legal advice, where he tells them they have no case, and it's so funny. Why anyone would call into a talk show for legal advice boggles my mind, but it's so entertaining. It's so fun. So that's kind of what I listen to, but can't listen to music, John. I would love to be able to do that, but I have to listen to music when I can dance, I sculpt all kinds of stuff that just doesn't even work when I paint. So I got to have, that's what it is. Great question, by the way. Thank you, John. Hey, Terry. Hello, Puppet Troop. The Crumpet Puppet Troop. How are you today? Great to hear from you. Which characters did you puppeteer in the Popples movie? Oh my gosh. Bum, bum, bum. The past is coming forward again. The Popples. It's Popple time. Oh my goodness. Does you guys know what the Popples are? These guys do, but do you? Okay. It was a little character you could play with that turned into a backpack. And then from a backpack turned into a toy. Actually, quite clever. Wouldn't you guys say? Quite clever. And they did a TV show that we shot. Well, I can't even remember where we shot it. But that was we shot it with the Kyoto brothers. And I will tell you something. There was I can't remember which Popple I played, but I played it with Bruce Lanoil, who's quite active in the Muppets today. He was one of the puppet performers on Muppets Haunted Mansion. So a good friend for years. We did all kinds of things together. I'm just trying to make this look a little better. He and I did a Popple together. We performed a Popple, but I can't remember. It was a Popple in a box. There were like 3 puppeteers in there. And there was a challenge. There was some production problems, I guess. And we were performing the last scene. And when we got out of the box, Bruce and I, we stepped out of the box. Nobody was around. Everybody was gone. Like, and we had like, we remember someone took our Popple. And then when we climbed out of the box, you know, because we were all crammed in there, when we climbed out of the box, there was nobody around. And we, hello. What had happened is there was a problem, a discrepancy. I'm trying to look at the right word, where the builders and the producers were at odds. And so the builders, as I understand it, I could be wrong, this was a long time ago, took all the puppets and disappeared. And the Kyoto brothers thought we were in on the great snatch, you know, the great takeaway of the Popple puppets. And we weren't. We were completely oblivious. And for the longest time, the Kyoto brothers were angry with Bruce and I. Well, I think they were Bruce and I. I know they were angry with me. And finally, I sat down with them and I said, we had no idea. Bruce and I were doing the scene. And when we came out of there, the camera was, everything was gone. You know, there was like camera crew there a little bit. And we said, where is everybody? And they were like, So, and so later the Kyoto brothers realized that we weren't involved, that I wasn't involved. But for a while they were really angry. They thought we were the diversion, like, look over there, while the other people took their characters. And the builders took their characters, as I understand it, because either they weren't paid, they were told they weren't going to be paid, don't know what the actual reason was, only known that Bruce and I got we got falsely accused for something we didn't know what was going on. We were lost. I'll never forget that. That's what I remember more about the Popples than the actual show, is that people got angry with us for being the diversion, and we weren't. We just didn't know what was going on. And for years, no one would tell us, you know what you did. We didn't know what we did. We did a show. So I can't tell you which Popple. I just remember the Popple was in a giant box. And because that was all overshadowed. I mean, what a crazy shoot day that was. Everybody just, and I think, if I really was going to weigh in on this, I don't think they did it to make us be the scapegoats, even though we kind of were. I just think they did it because they felt if we were in on it, it could be, I think they just felt like we would be the best diversion if we didn't know anything about it. And so that was the decision they all made. And they made it. I don't know how it turned out, but I'm sure, we didn't shoot another Popple thing, so maybe it never came to fruition. But sometimes this stuff happens. People go take action when you didn't pay for my thing, so I'm taking it back. I don't know how it went, but and I can't speak for Bruce Lanoyle, but for me it was a real challenge getting to I wanted to let the Kyoto brothers know. They kept getting angry with me and telling me how dare I, and I kept saying, guys, you've been reading the wrong book, because I had nothing to do with it. No one in that box had anything to do with it. Nobody told us anything. We were so confused. So isn't that funny? You bring that up, and that's the story you get. There you go, Puppet Troop. We miss you too. Yes, I do. I miss you an awful lot. Good morning, Steven. Steven's been sending me some really fun things to look at. I really enjoyed it. Lots of fun. You actually showed me a mold maker. Was it you, Steven, who showed me the mold maker who makes tiki mugs? I thought that was pretty cool. I thought, ooh, ooh, his TikTok channel is pretty good. He doesn't do a lot of things other than, while he's making his mugs. It was cool. It was cool. Thank you for sharing. My cousin was in WDW and picked up a figment for me. See, Joseph? On the third day, shortly before they sold out, and I'm sure she shocked everyone by only buying one with her family of 4. Exactly. And she could have bought 2. And the other one just give to another person. And as I understand, they sell out day to day, not the whole time. So it could be like my Tinkerbell that tiptoes across the map. There were 2,500 of that sculpture presented at Disneyland for people to buy, but they only released them in 600 figure increments. So you had to wait till the next 600 came out, and so on and so forth to 2,500. So we tried to make sure everybody knew that although they were sold out, they weren't sold out forever. And I think this is what the people on Twitter were trying to tell everybody, Joseph, was that if you really want this popcorn bucket, it's not sold out forever. I'm glad you have one, though, because I'd like to ask you to take, when you get it, to take some turnaround pictures. Anybody who has a bucket, can you just do some turnaround pictures and message me and send them to me? Because I'd like to see what he looks like. I got the front of it, but I'd just like to see what he looks like. Luckily, I'm happy to say he looks like a popcorn bucket, unlike the Millennium Falcon. Where you get 2 kernels in that popcorn bucket. It's really not a pumpkin bucket. It's a popcorn. It's crazy. Janet says, I agree with you about the popcorn bucket. I would like one, but I'm not going on eBay to pay those prices. Janet, reach out to some folks. Okay? Reach out to some folks that you know, because honestly, I think they're still available. And I'm going to reach out to a couple at Walt Disney World. And I don't expect them to get in line. No. I'm just going to say, if you happen to come across a popcorn bucket, let me grab one. And if I do find one, and you still don't have one, we'll get it to you. But just reach out, Janet, because I don't think the battle is over. Dennis says, so appreciated your generosity at the Ryman events I coordinated for Disneyland Fan Club. Missed those days. Exactly. And some people will come and speak that have way more pull with Disney, and they won't even bid on the equivalent of their meal. And I don't think this is right, especially if you're selling something at the event and you sell out. You are if you get to speak. So if that happens to be me with my castle that I did for the 60th anniversary, or I have an extra Imagineering book, The Building of the Dream, I know I'm going to sell it. So you at least, that this is just advice. You make it about the people, make their event special. My suggestion, of course. I hope the expo is better this year. We aren't going. Oh, Janet. How are you going to know? You'll probably watch on Facebook and stuff, But Janet, there's a very good chance I'll be on the inside of that. And if not, I'll be on the outside, but I'll have connections to people on the inside. So either way, if there's something you want, let me know. I don't want anything. So, if you can't make it in the inside and you need something, I'll do my best to see if I can get it for you. No guarantees, but just ask, you never know. You never know. I have a friend who fell in love with the tikis from Club 33, and I managed to get her a tiki from Club 33. She really, really wanted one. So I said, okay, I'll get you a tiki. As soon as the guests were allowed to get tikis at Club 33, a friend of mine took me up there, and I bought, I was allowed 1 mug, I think, as a guest, and I bought it and gave it to her. Yeah, there you go. Abigail Disney has spoken out against Bob Chepek, saying he isn't paying cast members enough. Yeah, you think? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say there's some sort of bureaucracy that means you can't pay cast members. I don't know what it is. I think there's no such animal, but let's say now you're the CFO, CEO of a company like Disney, and you're making billions of dollars or even millions of dollars. Take 1 or 2 million, and how about helping the people that make this thing float? It just doesn't sound so hard to me. What am I missing? What am I not getting? What am I not getting? That's the big question, isn't it? Yeah, It is, Joe. What's that about? Joseph says, my issue with getting the early Visa ticket pre-sales was the site kept saying they couldn't validate my gold member status. Oh, that's annoying. Trying for almost an hour, I finally got in just at the 3-day pass sold out on Wednesday. Thank God, no problem on Thursday. This is, good for you for trying on Wednesday and then going back Thursday, not just completely giving up. They did, many people who had Visa cards who tried on Wednesday. Some did not make it past the sell out point Wednesday. But Disney knew, and this is one thing Disney does quite well usually, is they know there had to be a quota. You can't sell all the 3-day passes on the Visa day, or Thursday. People are going to be really upset. It seems like they're more aware of regulating so that everybody can, you go to a show, you need to be able to get a souvenir from there. That doesn't happen aftermarket on eBay. You should be able, if you go to the show, to buy at the show. Limit. Key to that. Limit. And if you get right in and you stand in that line and you go, oh, I don't want to stand here, but you want to be one of the first, you should be one of the first to get the merchandise. Okay. Just my thoughts. So you're absolutely right. And congratulations, Joseph. I'm glad you didn't give up. I'm glad you didn't. Steven says, speaking of puppets, did you get the magazine with the article on Star Wars Shadow Puppets? Which magazine? I keep getting a magazine in the mail that I have no idea how I did it. Is this your fault, Steven? Because I haven't looked at it yet. It's got a really nice, they have beautiful covers on them. I just haven't looked at the latest. So if that's the case, I'll check it out. But yeah, I was thinking of doing my own shadow puppet show because I did one when I was at Genieland. It was really successful because I did them different than the classic. Yeah, I love shadow puppets. I think they're brilliant. I think shadow puppets are the best. Also, Bunraku. I love doing Bunraku. So I'm trying to think of a puppet show I'd like to do. But right now, I'm only thinking taxes. Evan says, Ted Lasso was only pitched as a 3-season arc. We will see if they keep going on how popular and successful it is. Originally, Ted Lasso aired for 2 episodes. People went so crazy. That's when they were signed on for 3 seasons. They felt like they could keep the arc going for 3 seasons, but many have said if the arc continues to be strong, they are willing to go further. I love Ted Lasso. I hope if it's 3 seasons or 6 seasons or whatever, it just keeps its integrity, its charm, its teeth, its love, its sadness. Just keep it as real as you did that first season. And if you are happening to be listening Ted Lasso, anytime you doubt, go back to the first season and watch it. And you can get right back on that horse and make a strong 4th if you decide to go beyond 3. I'd love it if you did. It's my favorite show. And I may have mentioned that as an artist, I get screeners. And as an actor and my husband's an art director, et cetera, we get screeners in the mail. Ted Lasso is one of them. And I'm so excited that I get to see 2nd season again. Even though I could get it on Apple, I can watch it on Apple. It's nice to have it in DVD format. So I'm so excited. I'm just going to watch it till the DVDs fall apart. I love Ted Lasso. It's what a great show. It just goes to show you can do great shows. Not everything might have been done, but they're doing such a great job. Everyone is doing such a great job. And it's just a joy to behold. So keep it up, Ted Lasso. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love that show. Jessica says, I made a monitor style blue penguin. Aww. I have made a sock puppet before the way you showed how during a live stream. So I guess the penguin is really my second. Well, your first one might have been your art proof. And now you did one because you practiced on that one. And then I hope the sock puppet I did live, showed you live, was a way to just get you doing puppets because puppets are so special. They have such range. I've always said that when you want your somewhat edgy attitude to be out in the public, use a puppet, and then you as the person can say, hey, you shouldn't say that. You know, puppets are magical. So congratulations, Jessica. I'm so glad you ran with it. Yeah, this person pops in and says something I completely don't understand, but welcome. Paula says, it just cost me and my husband over $400 for park hopper passes. We only rode 3 rides, 2 in Disneyland and 1 in DCA, not Walt's plan for the park. Do you see what I mean? Look at what Paula did. 3 rides, 2 in Disneyland and 1 in DCA. Okay. So if she was able, she and her husband, to do a la carte where she chose that 1 ride in California Adventure and she chose those 2 rides in Disneyland, and she saved money because she's not paying for all the rides. There's so many of us out there, aren't there, who are going to go in and ride all the rides, aren't we? We have our favorites, okay? And we're going to keep doing it. I mean, seriously, you go there, you want to ride Rise of the Resistance every time you go. Don't lie. Or your Smuggler's Run, or your Star Wars in Tomorrowland, or your Rocket Ships, or your whatever, or Pirates, or Haunted Mansion. You're always riding them, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know? You're really getting the most out of your ticket. But there are those who just like to have a taste of Disney, if I borrow a title that happened earlier in 2021. A taste of Disney. They just want a taste of it. They just want to experience the park. Both parks are so much fun. They have great restaurants, lovely places to sit, amazing parades. And shopping is great. So I don't think Disney will fail if you add this to the mix. I really don't think so. I remember when I was an in-house Imagineer, I had what was called the Silver Pass. And that really taught me the real benefit of Disneyland. I'd go down and have dinner. I'd go down and shop for Christmas. That's all I would do. Get in, shop for Christmas. Get in, go to dinner. Go in, meet a friend. You know, kind of like the annual passes we have. A little more challenging with appointments, but not always if it's just you. Usually if it's just you, you can look up later, you know, halfway through the day, because most people want their whole pass to be the whole day. You can look part way of the day and see if there's room for you to get in the afternoon, because people have popped out, and it's especially if it's during the week or whatever. You just want to pop in the afternoon and have a drink with friends or whatever, soda or something, grab a churro, go to the breakfast place and, you know, whatever. Pop in and, you know, go to that Lamplight Inn, which I absolutely love in California Adventure. That is by far my favorite restaurant of all of Disneyland, is that Lamplight Inn. If you ever have the poke bowl, the whole experience is so amazing because it looks like they give you a small planet. You crack that shell and the food is so good there. So I love the Lamplight Inn. Thank you for bringing the Lamplight Inn back, because when it was Little Mermaid Grotto, the food was foul. So it's nice to have a real good restaurant there that you can eat. And then, of course, there's Carthay, which is lovely. But this one has, you know, it's not quite as high end as Carthay. So it's not like the price, like if you're someone who's trying to watch your budget. Lamplight Inn will cost, but it's it's so much fun there. The food was just amazing and lovely. And I love eating there. I love eating there than anywhere in the park, including, and you guys are going to flip out, including the Blue Bayou. I think this food is just fresh and clean and amazing at the Lamplight. So for the first time I walk over I used to just buy the huge pass and never go into DCA. Never go, because I love Disneyland. So I'd always go to Disneyland. But now I like to, you know, see if I can make a reservation, go over there and eat. That food is just so good. Inside the park, I like Club 33. But, you know, I'm not a member. But I love going up there and seeing the magic and visiting with people and stuff like that. So when a Club 33 member asks me to be with them and as a guest, special guest for their guests and tell stories, I'm more than happy to do that. So if you find out you're a Club 33 member and you want an extra person to tell stories, I'm more than happy to pop down there and do that. Again, a little challenging because you got to make appointments and all of that, but we can make it work, right? Yeah. So I agree with you, Paula. I really think you would be someone, and you and your husband, because look what you did here. That's an a la carte, so many rides that would still save you money. And then if you pick too many a la carte rides, then it's not, it's counterproductive. But if you're someone who's just like this, who wants 3 rides, 2 in Disneyland and 1, I mean, come on. I don't ride any rides. 0, zilch, zip, unless it's new. So I've yet to ride the new Jungle Cruise with its dividers and changes and everything. Haven't made it there yet. But I'm too busy visiting with you guys. I go to see you guys. So, if I didn't buy a full-on pass, I could just do the little a la carte and come see you. I do think that a la carte would sell out. I think that would sell out more than a lot of the others because there's a lot of people who just want a taste of Disney. They've never been. They don't know what to expect. It'd be a cool thing. Yeah, it's a cool thing. That's what I think would be cool. Fraggle Rock is back. I did see that, Stephen. Very cute. Yes. Welcome back, Fraggle Rock. There he is. Good morning. Have a lovely day, Michael Joseph Leslie. You need to come see me. And with that, I just have some goodies. Similar to battle between NBC and Frank Paris over the original Howdy Doody. Yeah. You got to protect your intellectual property, don't you? Don't just willy-nilly, You look, read, check out that contract before you give away because you never know. Make sure you're protected. And if you not sure, have someone you trust read it like a good lawyer. Yeah, absolutely. Janet says, I know Janice is going. She'll keep me informed on the items that she thinks I might like. There you go. Ba-bam. See, Janet knows how to do it. Yeah. She knows how to do it. She knows how to do it. Right. Janet, I didn't see you on the Tribe. Be sure to watch the Tribe broadcast today. And that's all I'm going to say. Go check it out. Okay. I also look at the page. If you don't want to watch it, then you can look at the Facebook page, our private Tribe Facebook page, and it'll get, look at my feed there. Okay. All right. My son is making clothing merchandise for Ted Lasso. Really? Awesome. Is he part of the license group? Because I bought a shirt. That's my favorite thing. However, one of the other guys had the hoodie from the teams. I thought that was cool, but I had to have my Sam Abasanya shirt, and I did it the first year. I did it before they first released them, and you could put your name on it. I put his name on it, and then right after that, they did Roy Kent and Sam, and so I kind of beat the trend, which made me feel kind of but now everybody can get it. So beat the rush. Yes, indeed. I remember when the park cast members were so underpaid that they worked there for the 35% discount and the exclusive merch to resell. Wow, that is a long time ago. I don't remember that actually happening because a lot of times now, if the cast members resell, they get in trouble. Yeah, many cast members will tell you if they get caught selling, so they can't do that anymore, which makes it even more difficult. Yeah. Steven says, I sent you a copy of Star Wars Insider 206 with the article. Yeah, that's you. I thought it was you. I was like, I'm getting these. Who's giving me these? And there's no note inside, Steven. So you've been Mr. Mystery Guy. But thank you. They're beautiful covers. The covers are gorgeous. Inside, a bit few too many ads, but that's the way of a magazine nowadays, isn't it? They really got to pull in the ads to even make the magazine worth printing. So thank you, Steven. I love it. Next time, put a note in it, buddy. Okay. Evan says, I made a reservation 3 hours before park closed yesterday when I got there. This is what I'm talking about, Evan. You see, if you live in the vicinity, this big pass, this major magic key pass, the dream key pass, works great because you just pop in, few hours. That's what really is fun. If you live near Disneyland, you're in the catbird seat because you just go on, you look, and you say, hey, I just want to go and check it out, half day, whatever. Saturdays and Sundays, a little more challenging because that's when people have off, but during the week, rocks. So that's my suggestion. Just food for thought for all of you out there. I think many of you already know this, but that's the way it is. Yes, they contacted him to do the work. If your shirt is sublimated, he probably made it. No, I got mine from the studios. Yeah, I got mine from that, but I love it. I love it because it's bright. And originally it was during the first season, okay? So I wanted it to have that Dubai on it. And then second season, there's that challenge. So then I wanted the other title across it. And I don't know if he does the actual logo that supports the team, sponsors the team, but I'd be interested in getting one that had the team sponsor on it. Mine doesn't. They weren't going to do that. There was some sort of reasoning. And now I'm kind of glad they didn't because of second season. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there it is. So we have managed to be just under 2 hours, which is my new goal. Here is to answer as many questions I can in 2 hours for a while. And then as less and less and less of you come to see me because you're getting out in the world and having a life, not that you're not having a life here, okay? But you may not want to spend 2 hours with me. So we'll try to make my Monday about 40 minutes-ish and my Ask Me Anything between an hour 15. That's the goal that we're getting down to. So you can either listen to it later or you don't have to be locked in for an exorbitant amount of time. I love spending time with you. And I think you all realize Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's Legend Imagineer, has no trouble talking. In any kind of voice you want. I end up talking all the time. You know, in fact, there's a wonderful friend of mine, and I think she's from the Bronx or Long Island. And she's like, hey, don't worry. Everything is fine. Just fine. I'm going to be here for a long time. So just relax. And I can't help it. I love imitating her. It's such an adorable accent. She is the cutest thing ever. And I end up going, hey, don't worry. Terri, relax. You know, it's great. So it's a problem when you have an ear and you do voiceovers. You just tend to imitate people and you don't mean it as a sign of making fun of them. You just fall in love with their voice. It's also the situation if you're a sculptor and you end up staring at people because the face is a gorgeous construction of mastery, and faces are so amazing to me that I often find myself staring and sometimes sketching. Can't help it. Before I leave, I will show you that I also have this other anomaly as an artist that you may find weird, you may not find weird, but I'm going to show it to you. Whenever I come across a little creature, okay, so I found this little bee dead on my mat. Here he is. I'm going to zoom him in. You can't really see him. I had him encased in resin because he's such a beautiful example. And I thought, you know, the poor little guy, I don't know if he crashed into the wall or somebody frightened him or whatever, but I just want to immortalize him in this lovely thing. Nature is so gorgeous that I went crazy over this. I do this all the time. It is a crazy, you guys may think this is weird. Here is a discarded skin from a praying mantis. I found this. And I put them in here so that I can see them because nature is, God creates some really cool stuff. And then finally, look at this guy that I ran into. Well, I didn't run into him, but check this guy out. Wouldn't you like a bunch of those? I guess this is a true horsefly because this guy is massive, man. I mean, look at my finger next to him. Woo! He is big dude. I saved him for a while because I just had to have him and study him. So as a sculptor, I got all kinds of crazy stuff that I got skulls. I got all kinds of, because anatomy is a beautiful thing. The bones are great. The structure's great. Nature's amazing. Not that I'm going to take some innocent creature and pour him in resin. Don't be freaked out. It's just if I come across something that has died and laying there, you know, like I've got lots of lizards. If something squished a lizard and I found his decaying squished body on my walkway, I would probably have him immortalized too, just because I love looking at things at various levels in nature. So that's my weirdosm. Those of you who stayed with me get to see that at the end. Artists who are weird for 10. But I love you guys. I'm just looking out at you right now and saying, have a great weekend. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. Doesn't have to be a money thing. Call someone you haven't done in a while. In fact, I think it was Bill Evans who just reached out to me and said, just wanted to shed some love and tell you I'm thinking about you. That is such a great message to get, guys. Michelle sent me, told me of how great of time she had in the class, in the pumpkin class, and what it meant to her. Another friend of mine, Lori, she got so taken with sculpting that she started sculpting pumpkins. She started doing more and more and more. And she told me about it. Her husband told me about it. It's just, I really appreciate it when you take the time to speak to me from your heart. You never have to say, I'm sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. You say, I'm sorry if I got excited at the thing. Don't say I'm sorry. Women tend to apologize too much. If you're a woman, don't start with I'm sorry. Just know that I love you guys. I appreciate anything you want to share, as long as you don't get personal. Like if you have an opinion that's different from what we've shared, as long as you come on and you say, hey, I liked Boba Fett. I don't know what's the matter with you guys. You can just kind of say, don't make it about you're an idiot, you're a jerk because you don't like it or you do like it or whatever. No. Idiot is a personal affront to the person. Don't do that. Just say, I tend to disagree. And then state your case. I remember that my friend said she disagreed about the Genie Pass, that she thought the Genie Pass served a purpose for certain people that were flying in from out of town and might have little kids and want to be sure the kids can get on the rides they want to. So in that case, she felt that the Genie Pass was a good idea. I didn't think so. But she didn't say, Terry, I think you're being stupid. She did not attack my character. She just talked about the issue. And that's all I ask here, is that if you have a differing opinion, feel free to state it. It's a free country and you should be able to say your opinion no matter what it is. Just be cognizant of everyone in this bubble, okay? Because we care about you. I care about you. And this is my crazy brain. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the bell, okay? Do me that favor, and then join Patreon if you want your voice to be heard even more. All right. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you Monday, where I will give you a very special announcement on Monday on this channel. Okay. Mwah. Take care. Be well. Thank you for the hearts, Michelle. We will see you soon. Be well, everybody. Have a good weekend.